today would be the fourth international convention that I've attended since the beginning of my career with Market America. And I swear, every single time, it's like the first time I've ever been here. The only difference is we're making more money, right? So kind of before, though, these conferences and this business, did you put this picture up?
Yes.
So before the business, to kind of give you a little bit of background of where we kind of came from, or at least where I came from, was I was in the banking world. I was a full-time teller for HSBC at the time. I was also a full-time student finishing up my business and finance degree. And I'm also in the Coast Guard as a maritime law enforcement specialist. So, thank you. But even before all of that, to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of where I really came from, I was born in Buffalo, New York, and born and raised, right? And now I got adopted into Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so kind of as I was growing up, I have two younger brothers and a mother and father. And to kind of give you an idea of my life, my dad was... he was a military vet. My mom was the one who took care of us. And as we grew up, my dad then went into being a firefighter. So I don't know if anybody can relate, but as a firefighter, I don't know what it is, but these guys have tons of side jobs. You noticed that before? Whether you're a cop or a fireman, they do all these side jobs, whether it was plowing, whether it was bounce houses, whether it was storage facility, buildings, whatever the case was, they did it, and I was the one that was dragged along to do it with them. And so I was taught at a really young age a really strong work ethic. But one of the funniest situations I kind of growing up that I dealt with was my dad bought us a pool, an above-ground pool. And as some of you may know, when you put a pool in your backyard, they got to dig up a lot of dirt, right? So my dad was kind of cheap and decided not to hire people to take the dirt off our yard. He decided to keep it there. I'm like, Dad, what are we going to do with this huge mountain of dirt that's in the middle of our backyard? And he's like, you're going to sift it, son. I'm like, what? So as growing up, whenever I got in trouble, whenever my brother got in trouble, we had to sift dirt. I was like, this is ridiculous. So anyway, we did it, and I was trying to figure out why he had us do this. And over the course of, I think it was 2 or 3 years, we would go out there, and whenever we got in trouble, I would have to sift this dirt, and he'd be like, son, put it over there, or, son, put it over there. And about 2 years later, it turned into a batting cage. And I was the coolest kid in the whole entire neighborhood because everybody was playing baseball, wanted to play in this batting cage. So, it kind of taught me something. Every single day after school or whatever the case might have been, I had to do something. I had to keep growing, and I knew that by doing something little on a consistent basis, it could turn into something awesome. So, yeah, right, because it correlates to the business pretty good, I think. So fast forward, as I was working at the bank, something really interesting happened, and what had happened was somebody came into the bank, right? And it was this guy, this gentleman. He came up to my teller window, and I pulled up his profile, and in his profile, it said it was a personal trainer. I was like, okay, it made sense. The dude is a pretty built guy. But what didn't make sense was the hundreds of thousands of dollars in his bank account. And I know for a fact that personal trainers don't make that type of money, right? Absolutely not. So I was trying to figure out what he did, and I was thinking maybe he had owned his own gym. Right, that made sense. So I asked him what he did, and he tells me, Joe, I own an online product brokerage website. So in my career, I was going to be that financial advisor, that broker, that financial broker that took all your money, right, made you money, and that made me money. So my first reaction was, okay, this guy's doing something online with finances as a broker. And as we got into conversation, he had found out that I was in school. So he had asked if I bought my books for school yet. And I said, no. He's like, listen, give me your email. I'm going to send you to a website where you're going to be able to get your books for a lesser cost than what you would get it at school for. I was like, okay. So I gave him information. I went to the website. I ended up finding my books to be about $50 less than other places online, which was cool. But I didn't really care about saving that 50 bucks. I want to know how the heck this guy had hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. So I ended up researching the company, and I was completely blown away. I didn't have a ton of network marketing experience or even business experience at that, but I found something where people could actually work together, and simply by just doing the day-to-day things that we're already doing, actually make something substantial with it. So he came into the bank about a week later, and we had a conversation, and I had started my business. It was October 2011, and so we hit the ground running, started showing people how this business plan worked. In about 4 months, hit executive coordinator. That was great. And what's funny about that scenario is, in the very beginning, I was 21 years old at the time. I was definitely not going to show how this thing worked. But what I did have was a resource, and that resource was Jim Winkler's DVD, that 26-minute DVD that showed the plan for you. You guys familiar with that? Right? So what I did was I took that DVD to school with me, and I showed like 20 of some of my friends at college. And out of 20 of those people, guess who came on board? How many? Yeah, one. His name is Miles Caradori. And this gentleman's still with me today. He's 26 today, making $10,000 to $15,000 a month, being able to completely retire himself from doing that. And if I didn't keep showing more and more people this DVD, he would have never been able to do that, right? Right. So as we kept growing, it was about a year and a half into my business, I hit professional coordinator, $4,500 to $7,500 in a month. And in that month, it was May. And what happened in that month was, it was actually the month that I graduated with my business and finance degree. So as I graduated with my business and finance degree to really get that great job working at the bank, I decided to retire myself. 23 years old, I was able to walk in and fire my own boss and be able to do this business full time. And from a year from that point, hit supervising coordinator, which was great. And I realized something, and what I had realized is that there was something still missing. After 3 years into the business, making that money was great, but there was so much more. So many more people could have been making money. So many people could have just been making this thing happen. And we were building the business in the home. We were selling product, but there was something missing. And then it happened. It was 2015 World Convention. It was right after President's Challenge, or the Challenge dinner, and I was in the bar, and I hear this little girl saying, "No ticket, no money." I'm like, that's it. I turned around and I had a conversation with her, and I found out she was one of the most hardworking, genuine, caring people I'd ever met in the world. But what I didn't know was that she was going to be the love of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, my better half, Ke Zhu.
So good thing I'm a fast talker, because Joe went over our time a little bit, so I'm going to go fast. I was born in China, first generation immigrant with my mom. That was a picture with my grandma, and that was the day that my parents got the divorce. From that moment on, my grandma told me, if you want something in life, you go get it yourself. Don't depend on anyone else. And that stuck with me forever. 12 years old, moving here, I didn't speak a word of English. We had no money. And I got a job the day I could, which was age 14. I walked to my job every single day. And I just knew I had to work hard for my American dream. I got my 4-year degree in 2.5 years because I knew we couldn't afford it. And, I think Market America landed in my life. God wanted me to have Market America in my life. I just wanted to buy some product at wholesale. So, and Jim Winkler told me to come to the first convention. So that was my first convention, sitting here 2 years ago in section 325. And I still remember Elizabeth Weber came out. And she's the top money earner of Market America. And I was paying attention to every single word she was saying. She said, you have to take that leap of faith. She bought 10 tickets, and she was at 6 figures in 4 months. And I think at that moment, Elizabeth Weber casted a spell on me. I hadn't made any money. And I walked out of here and bought 10 tickets, $2,000 on ticket, and I had no idea what the heck I was doing. So going home, I'm like, well, you better sell these tickets. So I was able to sell 25 of them and brought back 23 with me and won the President Challenge. And that's when I found the Skinny Joe of Market America. So you will never know what one ticket will do, and that was the ticket that changed my whole life and the entire business. And then shortly after, Joe asked me to marry him. I know it all sounds like a fairy tale, but it wasn't, because I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Joe lived in Buffalo, New York. At that time, we didn't make enough money yet to really, I can't just ditch my house in Milwaukee and just move because I'm in love. So, we really had to. We flew back and forth every single weekend. We spent $40,000 on travel in 6 months. I don't care who you are, that's a lot of money. So,
you hit the bonus pool.
So we really had to do something. We had to buy more tickets and build our business, because I committed to myself that at the next convention, which is 1 year mark with my business, I will not ask off for work, because by that time I would have quit my job because I'm buying more tickets and selling them. And it was right before convention, right at the 1 year mark of my business, I was able to quit my job because that lady told me to buy 10 tickets. And that was at the convention where we're both retired. When you add our age together, it's not even a retirement age in the US. Where can you find that? You can't find that, so you have to go out and buy your tickets. And today, we're not at where we want to be, but we have time, freedom, and we can do whatever we want. So we're always buying more tickets to change others' lives, like how it did for us. And today, we bought his and her car, and we bought the cars with cash, Market America cash. And we have 2 homes in different states. I don't even know a lot of people our age everybody's living in their parent basement, but we have 2 homes, one on the lake in Wisconsin and one in Buffalo, New York. And Joe wanted an in-home gym, so we built an in-home gym. We can have whatever we want as long as we work hard and help others to do what they want. And let's talk about things that money can't buy. And I wasn't able to go home for 12 years to visit my grandma. She was in China. The 45-year plan. You couldn't get a week off. You could only get random days off. It takes 2 days to travel to China. I never thought I could see her again. And she's the one that brought me up. And this year, we're able to take that trip and go see my grandma. And you know what else the 10 tickets did for me? I'm so glad I bought that 10 tickets, because this is the first time I'm telling this story. Because I just never thought that I could have this life and have time back with my family again. And going back home, nobody knows this except Joe here. I have a half-sister. And this is the first time I've ever met her in my life. 12 years old. That's the same age that I came to the US with my mom. And I got to meet her for the first time. And dreams do come true. I don't know what your why is. And you need to buy those tickets, find your why, and chase after your dreams. Don't let anyone else tell you what you can't do. Go buy 10 tickets, and just, it's amazing what the business done for us. We're not at where we want to be yet, but we're going after our dreams because we're buying a dream house, so eventually my whole family could come together, and these are our team, and you have to help others in the business to get what you want, and bring someone here next time to buy those tickets and change someone's life.
Absolutely.